right, Scott, one of my favorite topics, influencers. My grandfather, who, by the way, my grandfather, my grandmother, mom and aunt from Kiev, way back. And he used to take me for walks in the park in Montreal when I was 5 or 6. And long story short, I once asked him, I call him Zeta, how do you know all these people? And he said, well, one day I smiled at one, and he came over and smiled at me, and we talked, and then we were talking and laughing, and another person came over and smiled at us. And I got to know him too. And I said, wow, this is pretty simple. You just smile. But it was brilliant, actually, how he influenced people that way. And you talked about, I won't name your influences, but you talked about your gym teacher, you talked about your great grandfather. Can you share 2 or 3 people that have been influencers in your life?
Well, I mean, the most important is my wife,
Good
Catherine.
answer.
She's no, it's just so true. I mean, again, we were high school sweethearts, but as a person, she is the most genuine person I know, and I think authenticity is so lacking in this world of
Mm,
social media and trying to impress people, etc.
yeah.
And she's just incredibly genuine person, and I that is she grounds me all the time, and so that's the most important influence. Um, I mentioned that my great grandfather, my French great grandfather, who was an extraordinary person. He fought in the First World War. He was a scholar already. He was an economist. Fought in the First World War. Was wounded on the front and was sent by France to Russia to lead the French newspaper of Russia in Petrograd, was in St. Petersburg later.
Wow.
And he was there during the Russian Revolution. And I have his day-by-day journal during the revolution, handwritten journal of that time, and taking refuge in the French embassy and talking to Trotsky and all that. Amazing story. But he then came back to France so profoundly shaken by what he had seen in Russia that he got elected to parliament in France and led the process of creating the institutions of social security in France. And what he has an amazing story. That's just the tip of the iceberg. But what really I love about that, and I have his letter on my wall, the letter he wrote to his 1-year-old son from the front in 1914, 25th of September 1914, not knowing if he was going to return, and what he wrote to his 1-year-old son, that we discovered when my grandfather, his son, passed away. That no one knew about this letter until he passed away. We discovered it, and it's a
Wow.
profound letter about values, basically. But what I love about this, about his experience, is that, like the moment we're in today, where we know the system no longer works, the global governance system no longer works, and in his time, he knew that the national systems that take care of people were not working, the safety nets were not working, and that this revolution, like he saw in Russia, was coming to France unless they preempted it, unless they got ahead of the wave. And he thought up with others a new institution that is the bedrock of French society, the social security system today, as a response. And I think we're in the similar moment now. We need the same kind of courage, the same kind of creativity to challenge our notions about the system that we have, that we inherited, and come up with a better one that's more just, that's more inclusive in this incredibly unjust and exclusive world. So that's why he inspires me a lot through his example.
Man,
so
he's inspired me, and I don't even know him.
But there have been so many others, and one of the things that I recognize is the role of mentors in our lives. And what we don't tell our young people enough is try to find a mentor, try to find mentors.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And because they're the ones who are going to help, ask you that tough question that no one dares asking you, that'll shake you out of your
and you know what? And I get this with even in our search business. For example, if the person has to work for a younger person or a woman or a younger woman, are you okay working with someone like that? And the best answers I get, am I okay? I want that person to teach me all they know that I don't know, and I'll teach them wisdom that I've got. That's what we should be doing,
Yeah, there you go.
So, yeah, I mean, it has taught me that, like I said before, we're all influencers, and it's our choice to be positive or negative, because sometimes we don't know we're influencing, but we are. And we should keep that in mind. all the time. So thanks for sharing that. I can't wait to see that letter to the 1-year-old one time.
You bet.